Hello, Central Connecticut State University. Before I ever went to school there, before I ever went to school, any of the other schools I went to, there were confessions about them. In other words, all CCSU, Trinity College, Middlesex Community College. These are all campuses with people with federal criminals, a whole bunch of them associated with and as co-defendants of a former director of the FBI, involved with crimes against me and against little girls and boys, and against men and women, and against each age simultaneously, with sick people against elderly too. Interbranch, various natures of courts, cliques, and family members, how maintain criminally foreign influence through time. Uses of on and off fire department campuses. Whole bunch of people associated with mayors, former, retired, and standing. Like there's a detective Samuda, who he pretended he was an arresting officer of me. He pretended me to a fake location as an adult. No, with people that did that with that court in the Britain Superior Court when I was a kid. They attached a whole bunch of boys and girls. They're lying to the parents. They're making them. They're speaking to them. Oh, we speak to a group though, but they're timing it so they can. They're hiding lie progressions because interbranch family members use their kids for federal crimes, even with child offenders. There are also the people recorded with the counters to that who are doctors recorded using roles, valuing roles with that the reactions to such, like their sexual crime acts roles against the kids, reactions to it forced blaming on other things and others by making things up by against the people who catch them. I caught them. They only got caught by mistake with the principal sex offender after. Now, even if they, especially if they made that up, that was recorded to a tied pattern of threats, recorded uses of the Britain Superior Court's Facebook pages for passion crimes, rape threats. But when the principal sex offender were there, that was involvement with that. Other cases, there are crime acts rolls on and off CCSU, all kinds of natures of federal crimes, extortion, identity thefts. And they use people that walk by you. These are offensive evidence reception predators because these are lie progressions because they were already criminally involved with a whole bunch of natures of cases. Criminal uses of the north end of Hartford, criminal uses of what they call value as jobs. Those are degenerate jobs, criminal justice jobs. People associated with that. Clay Bay, Johnny Duke, the dinosaur boxing, involved with this Iowa family. There's a Casper family and a Daly family. I had nothing to do with. They pretend I had conversations. I show how they try to make illusion. I never had one conversation with them. They're tied to Old Saybrook and to all kinds of military, foreign and domestic, involve federal criminals with judges, cliques, and on off the campuses. Crime Acts rolls with them with databases. Then they go ahead and pretend they have the integrity to solve child crimes. They're lying. They're putting fake things against your kids in cases, families, each age of campuses, each age of formal fact sheet nature. Because when I was in, so there are Mendes police who are involved with attaching me to fake locations, fake ties to them, and they're involved with a house that came into my area when I was in fourth grade. Never had a classroom in the grammar school. Never had a classroom in middle school. They put me in a middle school and a summer school class with him and with Heather Hansen with the Joe DeMoro. They're recorded and confessed involved with the crimes with this. I never had a class with ever with the Kerr family. They're recorded and confessed involved with a whole bunch of Joe DeMoros and Tony DeMoro and foreign and domestic police and military associated with two mobile gas stations in Weathersfield. But through time, that one in Town Line Drive. They're recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with also with their roles with stop and shops, foreign and domestic families, police, military, foreign and domestic involved. With a whole bunch of people, interdepartments at CCSU, further involved with the child campuses in my town criminally. And these are judges forging names, switching names, identity thefts, with this Detective Samuda, for example, who pretended he was arresting officer of me, with a whole bunch of falsified police reports, black and white female judges, crimes with KKK, Confederate flag, predicate acts clicks. Weathersfield Police on off the state judicial branch offices, federal crimes with a whole bunch of people with Enzo Fienza, with Justice Department corruption, with overt criminal enterprises, military, foreign, and domestic involved with him, the Dillon family, with houses in my area. With the people that moved in, the neighbors before them associated with the Cololo, who has a Phil Cololo and a whole bunch of people with the Scalora family recorded, confessed, involved with a whole bunch of natures of drug crimes, untimely death, criminal uses of them that are connected through time, crime acts rolls with my campuses, even though this person didn't go to my campuses, except for when he was in my high school, but not in my class. I dropped out of the class with that because of their roles with confessions and demonstrations of their roles with overt criminal enterprises. These also then with the further criminal uses of the overt criminal witness protection program ties to the areas, with the same overt criminal enterprises recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, but by a Kerr family used by them. They also used criminal New Britain Superior Court also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated using them through time to hide their life progressions, attaching kids to fake locations, fake relationships to others, criminally exploiting all exceptions. I never had anything to do with Joshua Julian at all. He was pretending he was partying with me. He was like, that's his words. He's with federal crimes with people associated with the corner of Samuel Dick's house, criminal federal crimes with child sex offenders and their family members further involved on and off stop and shops, on and off unions involved with like Local 230, Weathersfield Police, criminal uses of Facebook pages for for child abuses, attaching kids to fake locations, attaching their family members to fake words, fake natures, fake locations, fake relationships to others, fake sequences, forging names, switching names, prevent encounters. Because these are people that are seeding. In other words, if I go into boxing, what are they going to say? If I look like a jerk if I talk about Sammy Vega. So no one understand how he's involved with all these undercover pigs. These are justice departments in Puerto Rico. Sammy Vega's a real bad person because he's a victim predator, never had a chance. What do you think the people stacking in New York City? That was forced by the organized crime method against our founders to be the pathology forced. Self-value too. Forced not to mention that self-value. Now it's still self-value. Because what do you think that's going to make? Made Tyson. Hardly anyone would come out of that. Thank God he came out of it. You know, I saw a video on YouTube. I'll try to find the link and put it in here. Because there's a picture of the people stacking that is unfathomable. You can't pretend to be about the Constitution unabridged and pretend you think you're science, and that's it's a cold world. That's a breaching organized crime infrastructure used to make live progressions, used to make negative value nature progressions effectively. Used to keep negative value nature progressions, action natures blamed on other causes, others themselves. That's why we have the campuses in collusion, simultaneously pretending to hate while they're sick justice, and simultaneously pretending to be they're just trying to be not everyone pretending they're from a organized crime group saying it out loud, make it easy for them to keep the real causes of negative value nature progressions, action natures blamed on other things, others themselves. They're keeping these drug crimes because they're attaching people that don't even take drugs to the interbranch family members spreading rumors with their little kids in the littlest, youngest ages. Recorded, whole bunch of clicks, retired and standing judges, their police forms, Weathersfield police chiefs, well, 1 year ago and now. intercities police families, recorded, facilitated the whole group sequence shifts, federal crimes with child offender campuses. And because there were more then and now, they prevent free speech. WFSB stole me the fake words, fake conversation with them. Did that to my family members too. But no, they're playing tricks with sequence shifts. They're approaching people after they already committed crimes, so they're lying, and no one knows how to. They're forcing fights with other people so they pretend they're defending themselves. I'm not making opinions here. I'm talking about what's actually recorded. That's way worse than fake news. Those sources and criminally foreign influence recorded involved with WFSB sources, people on and off the state judicial branch offices with them criminally involved. Shootings, really and or if made up because it's tied to real body dumping spots really used criminally. Especially if they're, in other words, the serial killer reported, even if it was made up or not, that guy's recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with crimes with families, interbranch, private ties to them through time, intercampuses, crime acts, methods, roles, natures actually recorded. Sandy Hook tied to this town, not by accident, on off the state judicial branch offices, on off the state prison offices, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated federal crimes with databases, federal crimes with identity theft rolls, with houses, with those houses in those locations, also tied to and as one's crimes with two with people associated with the communications of two speech teachers I had when I was a senior in high school. Then I was a senior again, no, and I took a speech class again. Both of those are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with houses in my area, crimes with a Dillon family, with my new and past neighbors, and with databases at Trinity College used for predicate acts, sequence shifts, identity thefts, attaching me to fake locations and conversations with a whole bunch of people with the name Alicia. Interstates involved. Men and women share the name Bobby. Whole bunch of people involved with Washington, D.C. trade center rackets, foreign and domestic overt criminal enterprises, wire crime, mail crime methods, acts associated with Mobile gas station, Town Line Road. Involved with the child offenders further with the campuses, involved with Stop and Shop, involved with confessions and demonstrations of fire department families, unions, and stuff like that. See, they're weaving people's sensibilities. Worse than that, they're maintaining them self-valued, criminal insidious natures of positive, fake integrity. So they can't follow mandated law now. And this is the conversation. This is recorded. What keeps them criminally foreign influence? They're not. They pretend they're leaking or whatever. They're lying. They don't have morality. Follow the law. That's why they have to. Their means of the pick one name in sequence. Connecticut interbranch forges names, switches names. Intercity police fake arresting officers. They switch roles doing that intercities, and they stack all these fake police reports. Former director of the F.B.I. down. C.I.A. and their family members. A whole bunch of people with Church Street. I don't know them. They note that. And the only context I know, they sought me out for these confections. That's actually recorded. Like the Hanson family, on off Yukon with a whole bunch of people associated with the federal crimes with New Britain Superior Court, with on off Trinity College, on off CCSU, with intelligence community, their family members. There's a Joshua Julian recorded and confessed involved with deans from a whole bunch of natures of colleges and campuses and quarrels with offensive evidence perception crimes. People with crimes with Wethersfield police, other city natures of police, foreign and domestic military, on off locations with WFSB in Rocky Hill, near Big Y, near Paul Zano's laundromat, on off the middle school further. There's a Jim Socia, a Jen Socia, others involved with a whole bunch of military involved with identity thefts. They're with offensive evidence reception crimes. and perception crimes. These are like they even have a real magician associated with the mail and with the people at CCSU involved with military families, foreign and domestic, involved with the crime acts roles leading up to in the Trade Center attack context. Ninth Circuit proven sequence shift, for example. Scalora family recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Those are ones that involved. She don't know what she recorded, confessed with her friends too, because these are people involved that were recorded, confessed, demonstrated cousins of a house in my area that are involved further and recorded, confessed, involved with forensics clicks with them. As these people, crime acts rolls on and off the state judicial branch, on and off the state prison offices, criminal uses of the speech classes I went in, the databases, there are conversations with those teachers in the background, recorded and confessed with this Dillon guy. My new and past neighbors, I don't even know their names yet because they're extended family members of the and like they hung around with the kid who went to my grade. I never saw them growing up. You know, that was the they didn't live here when I was growing up. And so then when they were living next to my house, I wasn't living there for like over 10 years. I came here right before they left. And in other words, that they were involved with the house that came in when I was in fourth grade. And this is with the O'Brien family, also with the C.I.A. Faglione, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, involved with a whole bunch of people with New Britain Superior Court through time that affected him to pretend things, pretend I was in locations him with that never were, pretend I knew him. And I never only know him in context they couldn't be honest about because he's involved each time criminally with this O'Brien family. That's also involved with with and as Sandy Hook families, involved with crimes inter campuses of each age, inter sensibilities and uses of the sensibilities with the religious spots. Real sick uses of the sensibilities of that. You can't defend that in the Constitution. See, they're preventing free speech by making overall allegations against people criminally, hiding exculpatory and inculpatory evidences, making them up. So we have mandated law that's not being let followed. That's involved with this worse than extortion, but this is extortion. These are passion crimes because they're lying about behavior. They're lying about integrity, interbranch, various natures of court. There's a whole bunch of people with a Delafair family, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved. What originally still sick, fake integrity of the FBI on off New Haven, on off locations with on off Yale College with the policing of those things with a guy named Arnold associated with WTNH federal crimes with a whole bunch of people roles with a whole bunch of people at Wethersfield Parks involved with fire departments, a whole bunch of people with Russians involved with that too, with the medical crime acts clicks, a whole bunch of people with a former mayor Gold, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, forging names, switching names, sequence shift crime acts roles of crime acts with Trinity College clicks with their family members too, after they did fake things in the past to pretend to know me in locations that never were. They would imply that and worse. Now, these are also people with locations on off the campuses, further involved, like Jennifer Kennepicky, a whole bunch of people associated with this, with these child sex offenders cliques that are involved with Middletown, Harbor Park, military, foreign, and domestic, associated with this Robert Schedule. I never had a conversation with him in his life, in my life. He shared one of the Spada sisters involved also with the people involved with the New Britain and with former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin down. Now, these are people with federal crime acts roles with WFSB election crime roles with Wethersfield town offices, crime roles with a whole bunch of people tied to this Dillon family, tied to Kurz, tied to a Jerry Miller, and people with the name KNERR recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by the state's attorneys involved with their crimes with investigations. They said they were going to investigate stuff. They knew about stuff that they then hid with sequence shifts, federal crimes with principal sex offender note. That was also further with interbranch family members telling lies about me. They used the former Governor Malloy to spread lies, and they have a girl, WFSB, recorded, confessed, putting the name of a girl and her picture into the news to hide their lie progressions, their roles preventing mandated law, their roles with parents involved with crimes with the child sex offenders. WFSB, a whole bunch of their sources involved with their federal crimes, like a John Maiano, people with New Britain Superior Court, other courts, their family members, the people associated with their drug clicks recorded and confessed interbranch federal crimes with fake news. Therefore, they're lying about people. They don't even know. They have this recorded crime methods with the stewardships of online policing used to hide offensive evidence reception crimes, offensive natures of identity theft crimes bonded that American history is really about. Fake branches bow and fall right now. Fall. Give me, pick one name and sequence into branch. Stop using the pseudo positive lying about me behind my back. Now there's a Joshua Julian, and there are a whole bunch of other people with a Confederate flag theme involved with the foreign and domestic crimes with overt criminal enterprises with houses on my street, further on off the campuses. Now, see, these are all people relying on what others say to ignore me, to lie about they're lying about what's actually recorded. There are two Mendez police recorded fake conversation with me, put the name of police equipment, put me in a quote. Fake words, because they did the same. Those are the people with identity theft when I was a kid. I never had a class with them. Everyone tied to them recorded, confessed, and demonstrated all kinds of federal crimes with evidences, with their families, with overt criminal enterprises, with people with the unions criminally involved. You get this solved right now. You get them to pick one name and sequence into branch, because not only do the judges involved with this, how many judges involved with child offenders associated with the natures of crimes associated with the Detective Samuto who pretended he was an arresting officer of me? Forget about it. WFSB recorded, confessed a whole bunch of people associated with insidiously with West Farms Mall, with locations on off it, like that serial killer place. Real or made up, he's involved federal crimes with those people. They need to pretend this stuff is personal. I'll give you this on paper. They're preventing this from getting on paper because I need the names instead. No one's arguing. There's in other words, fix the sequence shifts and give me a response, because the Scalora family is also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated further involved with a whole bunch of natures of crimes with kids in my area. People with foreign and domestic families, witch trial, witch religion, involved drug crimes, criminal uses of untimely deaths on and off campus is connected to the pattern of confessions from strangers than who pretended other, and in a sustained way. I've been asking this since before the Trade Center attack for a response to counter. Where I found out later is recorded a whole bunch of people tied to the former director of the F.B.I, his lawyer, foreign and domestic military families, military police and their families involved all kinds of natures of crime, federal crimes, intercities through time. A whole bunch of people with Trinity College, federal crimes associated with this Joshua Stryker, Joshua Julian, involved child sex offender crimes, crimes with drugs, identity thefts, forging names, switching names, drug crime rolls, crimes with state police, crimes on and off the locations at the end of the Berlin Turnpike, with a whole bunch of people with the Wethersfield police chief's family, associated crimes, and his extended family member, criminal uses of all the businesses, like the two bakeries, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involve all kinds of natures of federal crimes with Fred Grisette. Identity thefts, federal crimes with evidence of judges retired and standing, all kinds of people. These are people with the on off the New Haven FBI. Is Miss Spada? And I was only nice to your daughters, Miss Spada and Mr. Spada, Joe Spada. I don't know your sister's names. I don't even bring them up. I want someone be man up and give me a response for the campuses. And don't play games in the background. I don't care if you have badges, because then you're going to bow. Then you're going to bow. Because I'm right here, and I want a response for the guys, for the sick judges associated with the Delafair family. Pick one name in sequence. I'll show you how to heal. We have sick people with Hartford Hospital on various natures of courts at once criminally involved with this Leahy family. Whole bunch of judges with them. Women attaching me, forging names, switching names, attaching me to fake behavior, fake conversations with them. No fake yelling. You know, I yell, you talk about that context, true. Fake branches, through. We'll see you through. Now, these are all some people on and off Hartford Hospital, Cuban. There's a Scalora family involved with you guys. There's because they're red mobs. They're bad people. Fake, they're evidence crimes, identity theft clicks. Don't they put me in fake contact locations with these punks? These are people crimes with my databases from they didn't even go to my school. Where further the policing of the schools further involved crimes with child offenders. Now, see, they have the sensibilities, online platforms make opinions about behavior. Everyone's talking about nonsense. Fix the fake news, WFSB. This is worse than extortion. Hurry up now. Oh, beg me, beg. You bow and fall. Now, wall.